Okay, so this is the first part of however many parts it takes to go over civics and government. I'm working with civics and government first because about half of the questions on the social studies exam are on civics and government. So these are going to be things that you need to know about government. You don't have to agree with any of this. It's not about what you agree. It's about getting points on the GED exam. And a second note that I have is that this does not get you out of reading. It is very important that you practice reading on a regular basis. Um, if you don't read often, try starting with like 5 minutes every day and then add 5 minutes um, like maybe on a weekly or a bi-weekly basis. Um, so that way, you want to work your way up to about a half hour, at least a half hour. If you can read for a half hour, then you can definitely do read well enough to pass the GED exam, but you do have to get yourself up to that half hour. And that's a half hour of reading and paying attention to what you're reading as well. So in addition to the information that I'm going to be giving you, you also want to read on your own. If you hate reading, then just get a GED prep book and only read that because then you're definitely reading stuff that you will be using. If you like reading, then go ahead and find something that you enjoy reading. The reason it's important, even with the foundational knowledge that I'm going over with, what they will do on the test is they will give you a couple of paragraphs, and you're going to use the information in those paragraphs and the foundational knowledge that you have in order to answer questions. So that's why reading is so important for all of the exams. So, the first thing you need to know is that the US is a representative democracy. This means that we vote for the people who represent us in our government. I got that from the Wikipedia page. It's also known as an indirect democracy or electoral democracy. That is in contrast to the government of ancient Greece, which was one of the inspirations of our government, specifically in Athens. They had a direct democracy. That meant that the citizens voted on all laws directly, rather than having someone who represents them. And citizens in ancient Greece were only male landowners over the age of 20. And I'm getting that from this again, Wikipedia, Athenian democracy, which was a direct democracy. So these are the inspirations for what our democracy is today. Another inspiration that might be referenced is the Roman Republic, which is just means they had elected officials. That was also around 500 BC, along with the direct democracy in ancient Greece. So they had elected officials in the Roman Republic. And really, you don't need to know any more about it than that. You're welcome to always read up more if you want to on Wikipedia. I am just giving you the stuff that like just knowing that our democracy was inspired by the Roman Republic is basically what you would see on the exam. You're welcome to read more if you like. Another inspiration for the US government was the Magna Carta. This is a document that was signed in England in the 1200s. Until that time, the king had absolute power. When one person has absolute power and it's hereditary, meaning that they are born into this power. That type of government is called a monarchy, and the Magna Carta limited the king's power. So it limited the king's power. It promised the protection of church rights. It protected from illegal imprisonment. And then it also made it, I don't see it on here. It also made it so that any decrees of the king were under review. There were people who reviewed them to make sure that they were lawful. And let's see, what else? Habeas corpus is another thing. It originated at the same time. It's actually a little bit before the Magna Carta. They do not care about the dates of these things. And habeas corpus just means that you cannot be jailed without cause. Here's the actual thing on habeas corpus. It's invoking the jurisdiction of a court to review the unlawful detention or imprisonment of an individual, meaning they have to have a reason to put you in jail. You had to have broken some law. Before this, they could put you in jail for any reason they felt like. So that's habeas corpus, Habeas corpus. If you see it on the exam, you'll definitely recognize it because of the weird spelling. Let's see. I mentioned that the Magna Carta allowed the king's decisions to be reviewed. That group who reviewed the king's decisions eventually became the Parliament in England. And in a parliamentary democracy, the parliament votes for the head of the government. So you vote for people vote for the people in parliament, and then the people in parliament vote for the head of the government. Other types of government that might show up on the exam are a monarchy. That's one person rule, and it is hereditary. So it's passed on to family members. And that is different from the part E, which says dictatorship, because that's one person rule as well, but that one is not hereditary. There is aristocracy. Aristocracy is a small group of people who rule everything. That is also hereditary. You do get that's how you end up with being in the government is it's handed down to you from your family. There's theocracy, which is where the church rules everything. So that's one thing that you might need to know about, or it might ask you. But again, it'll ask you very basic questions on theocracy. It's not going to ask you anything detailed about it if it's mentioned at all. You just need to know that it's the church is in charge. That's a theocracy. And then there's anarchy, which is mob rule. It basically means that there is no government at all. And that's it. And then I already mentioned dictatorship, which is also one person rule like a monarchy, except it's not hereditary. Let's see. So our government is a representative democracy. It's based on the Constitution of the United States. That is our founding document. The U.S. is a republic, which means political power is held by the public through their elected representatives. And the next video is going to be about the first part of the Constitution.